Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Solo ReacTalk. This afternoon, I'm going to be reacting to SCP Foundation lore, groups of interest explained, made on the Eastside Show SCP YouTube channel. Yes, this is in relation to my reaction to SCP 5000Y. Yes, there were some groups of interest in that story that I did not know about, or I did not fully understand what was their role in SCP 5000Y. So, under the advisement of who was it again? Who advised me that I should check out the groups of interest? I forgot. I think it was Anthraxcribe 2222. Yes, Anthraxcribe 2222 did suggest that I should look into the groups of interest, and that's what I'm doing right now. I don't know this YouTube channel, Eastside Show SCP, but you know, his video popped up first on my YouTube, search page. So I picked that one. Hopefully it's good, and hopefully you guys will also enjoy my reaction to it. And remember, if you want to check out my previous reaction to other SCP Foundation videos created by YouTubers, the reaction playlist card is going to be at the top right here. And if you want to check out the original video as well as Eastside Show SCP YouTube channel, remember that the links are going to be in the description below. Yes. I have a bit of an eye problem. I have strained eyes, so I might pause and might just take a bit of a 30-minute, maybe an hour rest, and then I'll come back with the reaction video. So just bear with me with that, guys. And yeah, let us start with the video. 3, 2, 1, go.
SCP Foundation Groups of Interest. The Foundation is not the only group with an interest and investment in the paranormal and metaphysical. There are many other groups in existence who possess, use, or attempt to create SCP objects, either for their own personal gain or for the protection of mankind.
I think the SCP should deal with these other groups. We need clarity. Who's on your side, who's not on your side. And those who are not on your side, they need to be neutralized. They need to be dismantled. Because if we are going to be having multiple groups with their own various interests in how these SCPs are to be used, it creates chaos. It brings the SCP Foundation into disrepute. Because the world governments, well, the most powerful world governments, have decided to invest their trust and their resources into the Foundation. Now there's these other groups that are doing similar things to the Foundation, and you don't really know who to trust in the end, as the layman on the street, if I can say that, or just a government. There might be some operative who claims themselves to be part of the Foundation, but in fact they belong to a group of interest that is against the Foundation. Imagine the calamity, the confusion. So I think the Foundation needs to set things straight here. If they are the most powerful organization with the most authority in matters dealing with SCPs, they need to put their foot down, because they are going to be responsible. We need someone to blame if things go haywire. And we, as humanity, if I can say that, we don't want to blame the Foundation, because we know what they're doing is for the protection of humanity. So these other small groups that are out there, they have to be put straight. We have to know who's who, where they're going, what do they want, and how to contain them if they are a threat to us.
Some are rival organizations, Some are splinter groups of the Foundation, and some are trusted associates of the Foundation. In any case, it has been deemed necessary to create and distribute a brief on what agencies the Foundation knows about and our stance towards them. Alexiva University.
Alexiva University, okay. A university? Private university, probably. Alexa, I've never heard of it. Alexiva. Okay.
Very little is known about Alexiva University or its motives. Evidence appears to suggest that the organization exists in some sort of alternate universe in which Latin and Greek cultures maintain dominance, at least over the Western Hemisphere.
Latin and Greek. Okay, interesting.
Nothing to date is known about any other part of this world. All university-related objects have been found in the mid-southern United States, and more specifically in Tennessee, leading Foundation researchers to believe the university itself is located in that geographical area.
Now, how did these artifacts get into our universe? Exactly. Is there like a portal, an SCP portal, that connects to the alternate dimension or the alternate universe?
Many objects associated with the university, which is not believed to have built the objects, are recovered during postal transit via an agency known as Vitransimon Combine, and accompanied by relevant paperwork which has helped shed light on the objects and the place from which they came.
Combine. I don't know why, but that's taking me back to Half-Life. That's taking me back to Half-Life.
To date, all that is known about the methods that transfer the objects is that the technology uses principles similar to that of the Einstein-Rosen bridge, a concept considered purely theoretical by contemporary science. A particular section of the university known as the Department of Natural Philosophy is considered responsible for the transferences, possibly without the knowledge or consent of the rest of the organization. Catalog SCPs relevant to Alexiva University include SCP-877, 961, 1043, 1080, 1081, 1083, 1546, and SCP-1998. Are We Cool Yet? A collective of art terrorists, quote-unquote.
Oh, they're called Are We Cool Yet? Okay. Okay, Are We Cool? Interesting name.
The members of Are We Cool Yet are capable of either obtaining or producing anomalous objects and entities, and using them to create art installations. These
Oh, they're able to produce SCPs?
installations are placed for maximum public exposure and are often but not always fatal to bystanders. The phrase, "Are we cool yet?" is always present in some way. The Black Queen. Very little conclusive information has been recovered.
The Black Queen. So, Are We Cool Yet is a threat, you could say. They are a threat. I mean, if their SCPs have the potential to kill people, and they continue to make them for their own personal interests, that is still pretty much a threat to humanity in some sort of way, right? Maybe I'm wrong about that.
About the person of interest called the Black Queen. All reports claim that she is a woman named Allison Chow.
Allison Chow.
Daughter of researcher Dr. Gears and Chow before Gears' recruitment by the Foundation.
You mean to tell me we still don't have security clearance for this information? Come on, guys.
She is highly intelligent, highly driven, and possesses extensive knowledge of Foundation structure, activities, and contained items. She has repeatedly been able to breach Foundation security. There are reports of her involvement with almost every major group of interest known to the Foundation, along with many local governments and most world governments. Conflicting reports exist of the Black Queen's activities and motivations. In some reports, she is said to be highly malevolent, murderous, and destructive. In other reports, she is said to be more benevolent, assisting Foundation endeavors in secret as often as she opposes them, as with Nobody.
This is very concerning. She knows the intricacies of the SCP Foundation. She has knowledge on all the groups of interest, and she communicates with all the groups of interest. She has her own agendas. She's either sometimes benevolent or malevolent. No, I would consider her as a threat. But it seems like the Foundation can't seem to control this lady, Alison Chow, because like I said before, she understands the intricacies of the SCP Foundation. So it will be very difficult to apprehend this person of interest. But definitely, I see this person as a threat.
Regardless, due to her major security breaches, she is considered extremely dangerous. Certain sources claim that the Black Queen is the same individual as LS of the Serpent's Hand, and that LS stands for Little Sister. These
Serpent's Hand and Little Sister. Okay.
sources claim either that the Black Queen is benevolent towards the Hand in her role as LS, or that she has simply manipulated them more directly than other groups. None of this information has been verified. A few reports claim that the Black Queen is in contact with extra-universal individuals who also call themselves the Black Queen. These reports claim that Little Sister is a code name the Queens created to use amongst themselves, and that they cooperate and share information when it suits their goals. It is not known to what extent these reports hold any truth. The Chaos Insurgency.
I know of them, the Chaos Insurgency. I've heard of this group of interest before.
The Chaos Insurgency is a splinter group of the Foundation, created by a rogue cell that went AWOL with several highly useful SCPs in 1924. Since then, the Insurgency has become a major player on the world stage, using the SCPs that it obtains for its own personal benefit and to consolidate its global power base. The Insurgency not only deals in SCPs, but also in weapons running and intelligence gathering. It makes use of dictator regimes in third world countries, often using their populations in the same manner as the Foundation does D-Class personnel. Because of this, it helps to maintain the extreme poverty and war that is suffered by these countries, so that it can continue its radical experimentation, easy conscription of forces, and lucrative business deals with rebel factions. Most of the SCPs possessed by the Insurgency are unknown, but of those that are known, the most notable are the Staff of Hermes, an item capable of warping the physical and chemical properties of any matter it touches, and the Bell of Entropy, an object that can cause a variety of destructive effects depending on where it is struck. Both of these SCPs were originally obtained at no small cost by the Foundation, and were stolen by the original founders of the Insurgency. The Insurgency also has a known association with SCP-355 and SCP-884. The main base of operation of the Insurgency is unknown, as are its leaders. This organization is directly antagonistic to the Foundation, coming to clash over SCP items several times. Personnel are made to be aware of possible raids, terrorist attempts, and spies from the Insurgency.
With an interest group like this, I really think the SCP Foundation should make it as their top priority, or one of their top priorities, to eliminate this group as soon as possible. This splinter group is causing havoc and destruction in third world countries, using SCPs to achieve their own gains. They are dangerous. They need to go. And if we can't find their basis of operation, I'm sure, what was it, SCP, was it 662 or 622, the butler, the ringing bell. I'm sure if you ring the butler's bell and tell him to go and kill, the Chaos Insurgency members or headquarters, their heads of operation, I'm sure the butler will find them and kill them. I'm very sure. There's almost nothing that butler cannot do. So, yeah, SCP 662 or is it 622? Ring the bell. Ring the bell. And bring death to these people as soon as possible. Bring an end to them.
And to notify Command about any strange activity of fellow personnel. The Church of the Broken God.
I know this one too. Yeah, the Church of the Broken God. They're more like a cult, aren't they? Broken God.
Shortly after discovery and containment of SCP-882, several members of this church came forward and demanded the return of the Heart of God. Led by one Robert Bomero, they are a group of zealots, believing many of the SCP items to be parts of a god that was broken after the creation of the universe. By restoring it to its whole state, they will also gain godhood. Since first contact, 3 other key components of the god have also been tentatively identified.
This god, did this god tell you people that I will give you the power of a god if you can collect all the pieces of my existence? No, you fools. I don't think this god is going to give you any powers that rival its own. Why would it give you powers that would threaten its own existence? You're not going to become gods. You are tools. And once your job is done, you'll be thrown out.
SCP-217, SCP-271, and SCP-1139. A sect dedicated to the church-built SCP-808. They are extremely hostile to Foundation operatives, branding them heretics, and will attempt to kill operatives and break containment of SCP items. It is unknown how they are able to detect these items, but they have shown their ability to do so with frightening accuracy. In addition, they have shown a remarkable ability to resist the mental effects of SCP items, notably SCP-882 and its mental lure. The Church is viewed as a threat to both the Foundation and SCP. Members are to be detained by force or eliminated by whatever means deemed necessary by Foundation agents. Dr. Wondertainment. It is unknown whether
Dr. Wondertainment? Alright, interesting name. Wondertainment. Okay.
Dr. Wondertainment is an individual or an organization. All that is known is that Dr. Wondertainment is capable of producing anomalous artifacts and entities which thematically resemble children's toys.
So, he's also able to create SCPs. Or this group is able to create SCPs like, are we cool yet?
Links to the factory have been speculated but are unconfirmed. The factory. Little is known about the factory except that they seem capable of manufacturing anomalous artifacts and that they use mass production techniques to do so. This church is to other churches what clowns are to people. There are some superficial similarities, but all the wrong things are being emphasized and exaggerated so you can't quite put your finger on what is wrong. Sure, it is out to get you, but what does it mean? Why is it there? What happens if it calls to you? Dr. The Fifth Church, also known as the Church of Fiftism and the Fifthist Fellowship, is a highly secretive religious organization which possesses ties throughout the entertainment industry. Despite repeated investigations culminating in the 2007 nationwide sting known as Operation Stargazer, no further details regarding its doctrines, its practices, its number of members, or its goals have been confirmed. Although a watch list is maintained of 100 confirmed and suspected Fifthist celebrities and other prominent personalities. Its origins have been placed in varying points in the mid-20th century and various locations in North America and Asia, but some sources have dated it to centuries earlier. The Fifth Church has never communicated directly with the SCP Foundation, but it is considered to be a hostile force. Objects attributed to this group which are currently under Foundation custody include SCP-1523, SCP-1982, SCP-1724, and SCP-1425. The Global Occult Coalition. The GOC was created.
Well, I remember them too. The Global Occult Coalition. they were mentioned in SCP 5000. Why? The GOC.
In the aftermath of World War II, from the remnants of defecting occultists, psychics, priests, and scientists from Nazi, Soviet, and Allied states, brought together and formed by the Allies. As the world stage broadened, so
The Global Occult Coalition was created by the Allies? Interesting.
too did the number of countries that had their hands in the GOC until it became what it is today. The GOC are a largely political force, seeing themselves as the police of the paranormal world. They pride themselves on destroying supernatural entities and make use of the most high-tech experimental technology if possible, obtained from their benefactors. Many potential SCPs have been destroyed by them before the Foundation could obtain and contain them. They have been both on the side of the Foundation and against it at times, depending on the situation. They largely hold the Foundation in contempt for their use and containment of SCP items rather than their out-and-out destruction. The GOC has respected the Foundation's formidable might enough to leave it mostly alone, although there have been some questionable incidents in which the GOC have strictly denied involvement. Agents
So, does the GOC also have any sort of international authority from the United Nations or from the most powerful nations in the United Nations? I'm just wondering about that. Because then there's two competing powers, that are vying for dominance when it comes to the acquisition of SCPs.
of the GOC are to be treated with suspicion. The GOC are known to have involved themselves with SCP-1609 and SCP-1899, GRU Division P. Originally known as the 4th Department Abnormal Occurrences Commission, it was established in early 1935 by direct decree of J.B. Stalin, its first task being the investigation of the murder of S.M. Kirov. During World War II, the Commission expanded a newly reorganized GRU as Division P, Psychotronics, working to counteract anomalous threats from the SS, Ennenurb, and the Vatican, and to capture and study anomalous artifacts from both home and abroad for the benefit of the Soviet government. Division P has carried on with this role throughout the Cold War, making Foundation operations in the countries of the Comintern difficult. After 1991, rapid restructuring coupled with budget cuts and the decommissioning or sale of significant assets resulted in numerous defections of their personnel. A significant proportion of both Chaos Insurgency and Marshal Carter and Dark operatives in Eastern Europe originated from GRU Division P ranks.
Wow, okay. Division P.
And the flooding of the European black market with anomalous items formerly in their possession. Currently, this group of interest poses little direct threat to the Foundation. Objects associated with GRU Division P are SCP-1011, SCP-1723, and SCP-1232. Herman Fuller's Circus of the Disquieting. Herman Fuller's Circus of the Disquieting is purported to be a circus of anomalous origin and purpose. Currently, there is no evidence that this group exists beyond the allegations of various sapient SCPs and a handful of damaged non-anomalous artifacts. Most instances of related objects typified by humanoid status are physically mutilated in some way, such as SCP-1884 and SCP-1860. Others appear to be typical fairground objets d'art, such as SCP-1921, or take the form of attractions for the show, such as SCP-1956 or SCP-1931. Typically, objects related to Herman Fuller's Circus of the Disquieting are found at fairgrounds where the show is said to have performed. The Horizon Initiative. The Horizon Initiative is an organization created in late 19…
Hold on. Okay.
1960s by various influential sects of the main three Abrahamic religions as a response to the growing number of anomalous activities and groups which they perceived as threats. Though the full extent of their goals is uncertain, the Horizon Initiative is known to target SCP objects, either with the intention of retrieving or destroying them, depending on each item's perceived place in their dogma.
I'm sure the Horizon Initiative and the Church of the Broken God also clash with each other. I'm sure of it. Because, the three Abrahamic religions would not tolerate any notion of one true God that is created from the SCPs. And if those SCPs are combined together, their true God will appear and bestow upon his, followers the powers of God. Yeah, I don't think the Horizon Initiative would like something like that. That would turn their entire religious ethos on its head and threaten their existence.
The initiative is led by a tribunal composed of leaders from the three largest sects involved in its creation, though a large amount of internal strife often leaves the official leadership in less than full control of the organization. The HI's main combat force, Project Malleus, is generally deployed in the anti-cult operations and in SCP retrieval operations. The initiative's relations with most other groups of interest in the Foundation seem to be in a state of constant flux. While all parts of the HI perceive the Church of the Broken God and Fifth Church with a great degree of hostility,
Knew it.
and at times engaging in an armed conflict, sentiments towards the Foundation and the GOC vary greatly, from open hostility to a limited willingness to cooperate depending on the internal affiliation of individual members. Mana Charitable Foundation. Established in 1971 as an interfaith humanitarian relief agency, recovered documents describe the Mana Charitable Foundation's mission.
Man, a charitable foundation.
As sharing all of God's miracles with the least of his children. Funded indirectly through association with various charitable groups and religious organizations, and on occasion publicly endorsed by wealthy philanthropists or academic institutions. The MCF's primary agenda since its founding has been the free distribution of anomalous objects or their byproducts to civilians living in poverty-stricken regions in the Third World or in areas afflicted by warfare, famine, or natural disaster. The MCF is currently recognized as a non-governmental organization by the United Nations and is known to operate legally and illegally in several hostile or isolated regions outside the Foundation's sphere of influence. While no SCP objects known to have been distributed,
The Foundation has a sphere of influence and an outside, and there's a borderline on their sphere of influence on the world. Really, I thought their influence spans across the entire planet. There's no way anyone, can hide from their influence. But to hear that there's actually a border to how far they can go, interesting. Yeah, the Foundation sounds good, in what they are trying to do, but I think they should work closely with the SCP Foundation in order to determine which SCPs are going to be safe enough for public use. Because, for the betterment of mankind, yes, definitely we should be using these SCPs in a very good way. But I think they need more extensive experimentation and understanding before they're being set out into the public. So I think the Foundation needs to join forces with the SCP Foundation. Just as a secondary precautionary security measure.
by the MCFs to date have caused intentional harm to human beings or communities, and detained MCF operatives tend to demonstrate strong pacifistic beliefs. Containment breaches associated with the group have often resulted in human casualties or severe threats to the global status quo due to unforeseen consequences of the objects released from containment,
Yikes.
and or a zeal to distribute potentially helpful objects immediately without rigorous scientific study of their long-term behaviors.
Like I said, we need a force joining between the Foundation, the SCP Foundation, and the Managed Charitable Foundation. Yeah.
Objects known to be associated with the Mana Charitable Foundation include SCP-1135, SCP-1176, and SCP-1615. Marshall, Carter, and Dark.
Marshall, Carter, and Dark.
club based in London, England, catering to the super-rich and with extensive political and financial ties worldwide. This group has caused extensive problems for the Foundation. Marshall Carter and Dark is known for collecting rare and obscure items, along with providing its members the most exclusive, expensive, and rare experiences available. These activities have resulted in conflict with the Foundation on numerous occasions. The group is not known for the use of force. They prefer to apply extreme financial and political pressure to achieve their goals. When forced to use more direct means, Marshall Carter and Dark employs outside agents, and it is very difficult to connect said agents to the organization. Marshall Carter
I'm sure Marshall Carter and Dark also hire other groups of interest to do their bidding. Maybe like Division P, or the what do they call themselves again? The Chaos Insurgency. Maybe they also use them, or even the Serpent's Hand. To do their dirty bidding.
Carter and Dark have caused several SCP containment breaches, primarily through the use of money or social pressure. Several reports, records, and even items have been leaked by Foundation personnel who have been approached with large amounts of money, or threats of extensive jail time or torture. Notably, 2 containment sites were almost brought to public attention after the Foundation refused access to members of Marshall Carter and Dark. Information pertaining to Marshall Carter and Dark, such as the name of the director or even a list of members, have proven very difficult to acquire. Agents encountering members of this group are advised to maintain a cover story and not, for any reason, reveal Foundation ties or SCP information. Nobody. Little is currently known about the person, entity, or group known as Nobody. First sighted in 1954, they have had numerous appearances since. There has only been one person seen at any given time, typically described as a male Caucasian dressed in a gray suit and fedora. If asked his identity, he replies that he's Nobody. However, it is not known if this is the work of a single person or multiple agents of a single unknown agency. Their agenda is currently unknown, sometimes helping the Foundation, sometimes hindering it.
Sounds like what is it? The Black Queen. Yeah, it sounds like Alison Chow.
Caution is recommended if any field agents encounter an operative identifying themselves as Nobody. The Office for the Reclamation of Islamic Artifacts. The Office for the Reclamation of Islamic Artifacts is a paramilitary force.
Aren't they going to be in contradiction with the Horizon Initiative? Because the Horizon Initiative has been formed from the 3 main religions, the Abrahamic religions, and Islam is a part of it.
Answerable only to the Supreme Leader of Iran, dedicated to the collection and utilization of anomalous artifacts throughout the Middle East and Central Asia. Following the 1979 overthrow of the Imperial Iranian government by revolutionary forces and subsequent creation of the Islamic Republic of Iran, all Foundation personnel were expelled from Iran as agents of colonialism. Attempts at maintaining a clandestine presence in the country met with failure, with the majority of Foundation personnel either captured or killed in sites and being captured by Iranian forces. To prevent Iran from being left behind in the field of extranormal research, the ORIA was created by a secret decree of Supreme Leader Khomeini in 1981. Despite its name, the group has not limited itself to the pursuit of anomalous objects of Islamic origin. Although the ORIA has access to considerable resources, its effectiveness is hobbled by infighting among numerous factions within the organization. Some of these disputes center around philosophical differences, such as the weaponization of anomalous objects, while others appear to be personal in nature. The proliferation of factions appears to have been intentional, as the organization of the ORIA often leads multiple commanders with overlapping areas of responsibility. It is theorized that the reasoning behind this arrangement was to prevent any one individual from accumulating enough power to pose a challenge to the Supreme Leader. With the spread of Iranian hegemony throughout the Middle East and Western Asia, the ORIA has expanded its reach across the region, becoming the foremost paranormal organization in the Middle East. The ORIA is to be considered a hostile force, and Foundation personnel are advised to use extreme caution when engaging. Oniri Collective. Information about the Oniri Collective has come to the Foundation only through interviews with the persons who have come across it, and the anomalous objects they leave behind. It is unknown whether any individuals are members of the Collective. or if it exists as one whole outside the Foundation's perception of reality. Researchers have theorized that the Oniri Collective may be a self-aware dream that works to deliver impermanent dreams to the more permanent reality.
It's a dream? Its existence is a dream? Interesting.
It is rumored that certain Foundation employees believed to have been visited in their dreams by shapes and lights, pleading with them to use their influence or responsibilities to assist the Collective. All these personnel have undergone amnestic treatment after being interviewed. Intelligence has shown that they have been documented by other groups of interest, usually to a degree similar to the Foundation's interaction. The Oniri Collective is apparently capable of contacting even highly isolated entities, such as Nobody. The only group of interest noted to have antagonistic interaction with the Collective is the Factory, but the reason for this is unknown. Documents related to the Oniri Collective include SCP-2805, SCP-2028, and SCP-2272. Prometheus Labs Incorporated. Prometheus Labs was founded by in 1892 as a scientific research and development corporation based in who had over the years developed several potentially marketable projects of a preternatural quality. Prometheus Labs was regarded as a profit organization claiming to develop technology and tools that will aid humanity to surmount the so far extrinsic realm of the paranormal. Despite posing no direct threat to the Foundation, Prometheus Labs was relatively reckless in their regimens and refused the Foundation's recommendation of special containment procedures for certain products that would warrant them. On January 9, 1998, one of Prometheus Labs' projects resulting in the annihilation of their base facility. In the aftermath, the Foundation swept over Prometheus Labs' Ground Zero and recovered several surviving products and personnel. Products were retrieved as SCPs and survivors inducted as Foundation personnel. The Foundation is currently attempting to establish contact with Prometheus Labs branches and affiliates. Objects recovered from Prometheus Labs facilities include SCP-148, SCP-155, SCP-534, and SCP-1290. The Serpent's Hand. The Serpent's Hand is a small but formidable organization responsible for several security breaches. At least 3 different individuals have been encountered, all of whom use possible or confirmed anomalous items for infiltration purposes, including SCP-268, which was stolen from the Foundation, who had in turn recovered it during a raid of a Chaos Insurgency facility. The total number of members belonging to this organization is unknown, as is their level of technology, number of possible SCPs held, or total level of threat.
And that's why I'm saying the Marshall Carter and Dark interest group. I'm sure they're hiring the Serpent's Hand for their own nefarious activities. Yeah, I'm sure they're like an assassin, or maybe like a spy interest group that has the ability to infiltrate SCP Foundation facilities and steal SCPs.
However, it is clear that they are highly coordinated and possibly dangerous. One of their leaders is thought to be a figure known as LS, who is considered to be personally responsible for 2 security breaches of Foundation sites. The Foundation currently has very little information about the Serpent's Hand, and almost all known information about the Serpent's Hand has been leaked from the GOC intelligence. The group seems to embrace the use and existence of paranormal items, and in particular seems to embrace humanoid and sentient SCPs. The Serpent's Hand has been highly vocal in criticizing the containment and destruction of these SCPs, especially those which are fully human and not particularly destructive. The group seems to have unfriendly relations with the Chaos Insurgency and the ORIA, and an extremely hostile relationship with the GOC. The only recorded cases of unprovoked violence by Serpent's Hand members have been against GOC agents. The Serpent's Hand seems primarily based in an anomalous location called the Wanderer's Library, a building accessed through portals found in many different parts of the world. Direct assaults on the
It sounds like they live in the webway. Sorry guys, Warhammer 40k reference there.
library have so far proven unfeasible, even when entrance could be found. However, initial intelligence seems to suggest that the Hand has little understanding or control over the place. Attempts to infiltrate the Wanderer's Library are ongoing. Unusual Incidents Unit. Federal Bureau of Investigation, disparagingly referred to as X-Files after the television program starring David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson by the larger FBI community. The UIU was formed after the SCP containment failure incident brought the existence of paranormal activity to the public consciousness. Although later debunked as a writer attached to HR by representative of
Okay. Oh.
required the creation of a special FBI division devoted to rapid response to paranormal events and crimes. Since official protests by then FBI Director would have drawn suspicion, UIU was formed to research and react to paranormal activity. Members of UIU are generally well-meaning, although their lack of effective resources and training often makes them a liability in the field. Early attempts to recruit from UIU have met with dismal failure. As UIU is generally considered a dead-end career path, the unit tends to attract the lowest rung of FBI talent. Personnel who request a transfer to UIU voluntarily are few, and those who do generally exhibit high levels of credulity and gullibility. For this reason, UIU operatives are to be recruited at the same tier as normal FBI agents. Should UIU obtain possession of a genuine SCP, personnel are required to contact Assistant Director at the Office for Retrieval and Replacement with an inert substitute. The standard man-in-black concealment pattern is recommended for these scenarios.
Wow. That's kind of sad. You know, here is a group of people thinking that they are doing something right. You know, they're collecting SCPs, and then these SCPs, if it is genuine, is taken away from them, and a fake is being brought in to replace what has been taken. That's sad.
And for incidents where UIU is operating in the same theater as Foundation elements. FBI agents operating for the UIU have engaged in combat operations with Foundation operatives and the Office for the Reclamation of Islamic Artifacts as detailed in the Bow Commission reports.
Alright guys, that's it with the SCP Foundation lore Groups of Interest Explained, made on the Eastside Show SCP YouTube channel. There's a lot of groups of interest here that have been, given to us by Eastside Show SCP. And yeah, most of them are a threat. Some are not really a threat, but a nuisance to the SCP Foundation. But in particular, they're arch enemies. I think the SCP Foundation's arch enemies is the Chaos Insurgency, no doubt about that. Not only because it is a splinter group from the SCP Foundation, but because they have very powerful SCPs in their possession. SCPs that could, destroy our reality, or destroy matter. So much energy, so much powerful potential in these SCPs that really they could topple the global order and just cause chaos and destruction. But they're mainly focusing on dictatorships and third world countries that don't have any strong institutions to maintain themselves. They're weak, and therefore the Chaos Insurgency takes advantage of those countries. So they're focusing on their small little gains. And I still think that the SCP Foundation needs to take an interest in wiping out the Chaos Insurgency. Use SCP-662, or is it 622? Call the butler. Let him finish them off. If you guys can't find them, I'm sure the butler can find them. Just tell him directly, I want you to kill the Chaos Insurgency. If he asks who exactly, just say all of them. Just say all of them. Kill all of them. And he'll go do that job. And he'll come back saying the mission is complete. Is there anything else you need? Ring that bell. Yeah. Alice Chow, the Black Queen, also, she is a threat. This thing about her dilly-dallying between whether she's on the side of the Foundation or she's not on the side of the Foundation, I don't like that. I don't like that sort of uncertainty. I need certainty in these types of things. Are you with us or not? And when I say, are you with us as the foundation, as the SCP Foundation, you're with humanity. That is your top priority, not any of your personal interests. We cannot afford personal interests. Everything that the SCP Foundation is doing is for humanity's safety and advancement. If you are not part of that group, you are in trouble in my books. You're in trouble in my books. If you're collecting artifacts for religious purposes, you are in trouble in my books. Like, the Church of the Broken God, as well as the Horizon Initiative, and which other one? The ORIA. All of these other cults or interest groups that are focusing on collecting SCPs for their own, national or religious interests are a threat. I need one organization that is able to collect all of these SCPs. One organization that can, catalog all of these SCPs and experiment where experiments are needed, and to understand how the internal workings of the SCPs, if they're a threat or if they're not a threat, they should be either used or contained. We need one organization that is able to do all of these things. Yes, let us have a group that polices the SCP Foundation, and let it be the Global Occult Coalition, as a opposing force to the foundation. If the foundation is leading down to corruption, or there is some sort of situation that is brewing that makes them lose focus on their mission, on collecting SCPs for humanity's sake, let the Global Cult Coalition also be there to check on them. But these other groupings, like Marshall, Carter, and Dark, that are funded by rich people, it's a threat. It's a threat. They need to be taken out. Definitely. The Prometheus Labs, they've gone through a very catastrophic situation with their organization. And yeah, definitely they need to be absorbed into the foundation as soon as possible, all of their personnel. And hopefully there won't be another grouping like this popping up again. I think really many of these groupings, they need to be absorbed into the foundation. If not the foundation, then the Global Occult Coalition. If not the Global Occult Coalition, then the Manitoba Foundation. They are a good interest group that I would also support. But also, like I've stated before, the Manitoba Foundation needs to join forces with the SCP Foundation for them to experiment on the SCPs that they have in their possession, to make sure that they will be, user-friendly for humanity. Yeah, that's what I think. But yeah, there's a lot of groupings here. I think we'll watch this video a second time or a third time, so that I can just remember many of these key groups. And yeah, this was really good. Thank you again to Eastside Show SCP YouTube channel for the video. It's been very informative on the groups of interest. And yeah, guys, that's it. Remember, if you want to check out the original video as well as Eastside Show SCP YouTube channel, the links are going to be in the description below. If you like my reaction, give it a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click on the notification bell if you want to be up to date with my latest videos. And I'll see you guys in the next video. It's another SCP video. Let me just check what it is. SCP Mobile Task Forces. Yes, the SCP Mobile Task Forces. That's what's coming next. You'll probably see the card for it on the right side. Yeah. And yeah, I'll see you then. Okay.